Hello, I'm Spiro with SP Wood Art, and thank you kindly for joining me today.
So, in light of the 2015 Christmas Ornament Wood Turning Challenge, hosted and judged and put together by Stratton and Jacobson, I would like to submit this video for the challenge, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun.
So I'd like to try and recreate some of that Victorian art style and apply it to this Christmas or holiday ornament. So I hope you stick with me and enjoy the show. I chose to use a block of ash wood based on its grain for coloring. And this was a scrap piece of ash that is 3.5 by 3 3/4 by 7 inches long. First, I'm going to find the centers and punch a hole. Then I'm going to mount my blank between centers. Then I'm going to take my spindle roughing gouge and knock off those pretty sharp corners. I'd also like to mention that this wood is kiln dried and is starting to look a little like a vase right now. Here I switched over to my square carbide cutter and I'm going to flatten out the ends. Yep, it still looks like a vase. But not for long. I'm going to switch to my round carbide cutter, which I made in another video if you're interested, and I'm going to start shaping the profile of my ornament. This is the first ornament that I have ever turned, and I do have a slight idea of the profile where I'm going with this, and I'm going to take my 1/8 inch parting tool and section out the middle. Then I'm going to make a proportion in the center where there's more to the right than there is to the left, and the left is going to end up being the top of the ornament. Here I will mark out with my parting tool the second middle section now and start shaping this center, which is going to be the thickest part of the ornament. I've envisioned that the center piece will look like a small vase. Eventually. Next, I'm just going to take a parting tool. I believe this is a diamond parting tool, and I'm just knocking down the ends a little. Then I'll move back to my round carbide cutter and continue shaping the profile, and you can see that it's starting to take shape now. Next, I'm going to mark 4 holes around the center diameter using the indexing on my lathe. And this is for drilling 2 holes in the ornament all the way through. And it serves 2 purposes. One, it makes the ornament lighter, and second, it serves as mounting holes for decorations later on. I will have to say that it was challenging clamping this down to the drill press table. I should have probably drilled these holes when the blank was square. Next, I'll remount the ornament and continue shaping the profile. And I also used my micro lathe tools on some of the finer details. Then on to that wonderful sanding. I start with 100 grit and work my way up to 800. And I'm not sanding the ends yet. Here I'm going to take my parting tool and bring down the ends and add a tenon on the left side for my 4-jaw squirrel chuck, which I need to change out my jaws to a smaller set. Then some more sanding on the ends. Now, to make sure that the surface is absolutely smooth for the die, I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to bring up some of the grain, and then use a Scotch-Brite pad to knock off those little grains. Next, I'll finish shaping the bottom, and I didn't do that before because it's sticking off the chuck pretty far, and I want to do this in sections so it's less likely to get some vibration and wobble around. And then I'll work on sanding the end in preparation for drilling a 1/16 inch hole. Now I'm going to apply a red alcohol-based wood dye to the entire ornament, and I'll do a couple of coats because I want it a darker red, kind of like a royalty red. And I'm applying the dye with a makeup sponge wedge. Then, to speed up the drying time, I'm just going to take a dry paper towel and burnish the red at about 2000 RPMs. For the next step, I added some antique gold gilder's paste, which I will now burnish off the excess with a dry paper towel. Then I will remount the blank between centers and finish up the left end of the ornament. And this would include more sanding, so make sure you use your proper safety gear. Once again, I will do some sanding, this time some hand sanding on the end that I just parted off. Also, I will mark the center of this end and attach a long screw in this end, and I'm not going to go in very far, it's just enough to hold it for a finish, which will be a acrylic clear coat with a matte finish. If you are going to use this type of finish, I highly recommend that you have a well ventilated area, or even do it outside. It has a strong odor to it. And over the course of a day, I will apply a total of 3 coats. And for the final step, I'm going to decorate the decorative ornament with various materials, as in glass, crystal, 24 karat gold, plated items, and brass, along with a 5-minute epoxy for attaching these decorations. And these decorative touches will add to that Victorian, extravagant, lush, naturalistic style. Well, I'm hoping anyway. Well, I have to say, turning Christmas ornaments is a lot of fun. I'm not sure why I didn't do this sooner. I'm definitely going to continue making Christmas ornaments from here on out. So I'd like to thank Alan and Carl for doing this Christmas challenge for the past couple of years and continuing on. It's a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. So, happy holidays to everyone.